All right, let's talk about a car that's making some serious waves right now, the all-electric Renault Scenic E-Tech. Now, this isn't just another new model. It's a massive comeback for a name that, let's be honest, has been off the scene for a very, very long time. And look, when I say it's making waves, I'm not kidding. This isn't just any old award. This is the big one. We're talking about the European Car of the Year for 2024. This was decided by a jury of 59 motoring journalists from 22 different countries. And believe me, it beat some incredibly tough competition to grab that title. So, that brings us to the big question we're cackling in this explainer. The electric SUV market is, well, it's absolutely packed with great options. So what on earth did Renault do with the Scenic E-Tech to make it stand out and win over all those critics? To really get why this is such a big deal, you've got to understand the backstory. This isn't just a new model release. It's a genuine comeback story, not just for the Scenic nameplate, but for Renault's electric ambitions, especially in a market like Australia. I mean, this timeline really puts it all into context. The last time you could buy a new Scenic in Australia was way back in 2010. And remember Renault's first EV, the Zoe? It kind of arrived early in 2017 and left without making much of a splash. So this new Scenic isn't just a return, it's Renault breaking a very long silence. But here's the thing, this car's appeal goes way beyond just the specs on a piece of paper. Renault has injected a huge amount of personality into the Scenic, and that might just be its biggest strength. And this pretty much says it all. You know how so many electric cars are going for that ultra-minimalist, button-free, almost clinical interior? Well, Renault has gone the other way. The cabin is filled with these softer, recycled fabrics. The infotainment is powered by Google, which means it's actually fantastic to use. And yes, they kept physical buttons for the climate controls. It just feels more thoughtful, more human. And that personality shines through in these fantastic little details. I mean, come on, they got the legendary French electronic musician Jean-Michel Jarre to compose the low-speed pedestrian warning sound. It's so wonderfully quirky. Add in that recognizably Renault exterior and little touches like the French flag on the seats, and you've got a car that feels like it was carefully crafted, not just assembled. But hey, charm alone doesn't win you awards, right? At its very core, the Scenic name has always been about family-focused practicality. And this new electric version, it absolutely doubles down on that heritage. Let's just start with a key number, 545 liters, that's the boot capacity. And that is an impressive figure that puts this car right at the top of its class. But what does 545 liters actually mean? It means you're not struggling to pack for that week-long holiday. It means the luggage, the school bags, the shopping, even the dog can fit without turning the rest of the car into a storage locker. It's just properly usable space. And speaking of usability, you have to see this. It's not just an armrest in the back. Renault calls it an ingenious armrest, and it's basically a little command center for the kids or whoever is in the back. It's got clever storage spots and these brilliant rotating holders that can either grip a cup or swivel around, become a stand for a phone or a tablet. It's a small thing, but it shows someone was really thinking about family life. You know, the Scenic is also impressively future-proofed. It's launching with something called vehicle-to-grid, or V2G, capability. Now, in simple terms, this means the car isn't just a one-way street for electricity. It can actually send power from its battery back out. The easiest way to think about it is to just picture the car as a huge battery on wheels for your house. Seriously. During a blackout, it could potentially power your home. Or it could sell energy back to the grid during peak times. It's a feature that's been talked about for years, and Renault is actually delivering it. Okay, so it's got the award, it's got the personality, and it's got the practicality. But that brings us to the final and perhaps toughest challenge, making it a success in the fiercely competitive Australian market. A key factor is always going to be the price, and this is where things get interesting. Its starting price of around 56 grand puts it up against some really strong rivals. But it's actually a sharp deal when you look at it globally. In the UK, the same car costs the equivalent of over 70,000 Australian dollars. So from that perspective, we're getting pretty good value. But value isn't everything. The Scenic's faces three big hurdles here. The competition is just intense, with some really established bestsellers. All the models are front-wheel drive and a segment where all-wheel drive is super popular. And crucially, Renault just doesn't have the same brand presence as many of its rivals, which makes convincing buyers to take a chance that much harder. So, this is really what it all comes down to. The Scenic E-Tech is a fantastic, thoughtful, and charming family EV that absolutely deserves its awards. But the ultimate question remains, is that unique personality and that European heritage going to be enough to persuade Australian buyers to look past the usual suspects? I guess only time will tell. And that's our deep dive into the Renault Scenic E-Tech. Thanks so much for tuning into this explainer. We really hope you enjoyed the ride.